Imagine a silent and insidious illness, a condition that stealthily infiltrates the lives of countless individuals. It's the kind of sickness that lies in wait, ambushing you from the shadows without presenting any noticeable symptoms until it suddenly erupts into a life-threatening emergency. This is precisely what occurs with arterial blockage, also known as the narrowing of your blood vessels. Here in the United States, heart disease tragically claims a life approximately every 36 seconds. What makes this even more heartbreaking is that many of these deaths could be prevented if individuals were aware of the crucial warning signs and addressed them promptly. Unfortunately, far too often, people dismiss these critical signals, brushing them aside as insignificant. Consider that persistent, unexplained fatigue you might experience daily. Or perhaps it's the breathlessness that overwhelms you when you climb just a single flight of stairs. It could even be that burning sensation or cramping in your legs when you take a simple walk. These aren't merely inevitable signs of aging, they're frequently strong indicators of poor circulation, signaling potential problems brewing within your arteries. So in today's discussion, we're going to delve into 9 crucial signs that could suggest your blood vessels are becoming blocked, potentially setting the stage for serious health issues down the line. Sign number 1. Chest discomfort. The single most important thing to watch out for is that heavy, tight, uncomfortable feeling in your chest, which doctors often refer to as angina. It's crucial to understand that this pain isn't always a sharp, stabbing sensation that leaves you doubled over in agony. More often than not, it manifests as a pressure, a squeezing, a constriction, or a heavy weight pressing down on your chest. The underlying cause of this discomfort, according to extensive research conducted at the Mayo Clinic, is a lack of oxygen reaching the heart muscle due to blocked blood vessels. Your heart, like any other muscle in your body, requires a constant and consistent supply of oxygen to function properly and efficiently. When the blood vessels are clogged or narrowed by plaque buildup, blood simply can't flow smoothly and deliver the necessary oxygen that the heart needs. When you're engaging in physical activities like climbing stairs or experiencing emotional stress, your heart requires even more oxygen to meet the increased demand. However, if those arteries are significantly blocked, they simply can't deliver enough oxygen-rich blood, leading to that telltale chest pain or discomfort. This discomfort isn't always limited to just the chest. It can radiate outward, almost like electrical shocks, to other areas of your body, such as your arms, especially the left arm, neck, jaw, back, or even your upper abdomen. This happens because the nerves in your heart are intricately connected to nerves in those surrounding areas. Angina often appears when you're doing something physically demanding that forces your heart to work harder than usual. On the other hand, when you rest and allow your body to recover, the pain usually subsides because your heart's oxygen needs decrease, easing the strain on the blocked arteries. People often mistakenly believe this pain is just simple fatigue or muscle soreness, delaying important medical attention. Every time this pain appears, it's a critical signal that your heart isn't getting enough blood and oxygen. And it's one of the earliest and most significant warning signs of arterial blockage. People who experience angina are at a much higher risk of having a full-blown heart attack. So if you regularly feel a heaviness in your chest that gets worse with exertion and gets better with rest, it's absolutely essential that you seek medical attention and talk to a doctor right away. Sign number 2. Dizziness. The second thing to be keenly aware of is dizziness, lightheadedness, or sudden nausea. All three of these seemingly different signals point to a common underlying problem. Your brain isn't getting enough blood and oxygen. And the most likely reason? Narrowed or blocked blood vessels restricting blood flow. When arteries leading to the heart or brain are clogged with plaque, the body struggles to efficiently transport oxygen to these vital organs. Dizziness happens because the brain, deprived of enough oxygen-rich blood, triggers a sensation of imbalance, making you feel like the world is spinning around you. The sudden feeling of nausea is another very important sign that shouldn't be ignored. Our digestive system requires a significant amount of blood to function normally and process food effectively. When the heart is weakened by blockages and can't pump blood efficiently throughout the body will instinctively reduce blood flow to the digestive system and redirect it to more vital organs like the heart and brain in an attempt to prioritize survival. This reduction in blood flow to the digestive system can cause abdominal discomfort and that feeling of nausea. Many people brush off these symptoms, thinking they're just from dehydration or stress. However, when dizziness, lightheadedness, and nausea occur together, especially if they're accompanied by chest heaviness or shortness of breath, it's a major warning sign that something could be seriously wrong with your heart and needs immediate medical evaluation. Sign number 3, unexplained sweating and fatigue. The third thing to watch out for is excessive sweating, persistent fatigue, or sudden cold sweats. This isn't your normal perspiration that you might experience from hot weather or strenuous physical activity. Cold, clammy sweat often occurs when the body isn't getting enough blood and oxygen to function properly. To make up for this deficiency, the body releases stress hormones like adrenaline, which in turn trigger excessive sweating. Extensive research has consistently shown that unusual fatigue is one of the earliest signs of heart trouble, especially in women. This isn't the kind of tiredness you can shake off with a good night's sleep. It's a persistent and debilitating fatigue that leaves you feeling completely drained and unable to do even simple tasks. When blood vessels are clogged and blood flow is restricted, the heart has to work significantly harder to pump blood throughout the body, putting immense strain on the heart muscles. This constant overexertion exhausts the heart muscles and weakens their ability to function effectively. This fatigue isn't limited to just the heart. It weakens the entire body, leaving you feeling run down and lacking energy. In women, fatigue and sweating are often the first warning signs of underlying heart problems. Sign number 4, leg pain or cramping when walking. The fourth thing to be mindful of is pain or cramping in your legs when you walk. If you consistently experience pain, burning, or cramping sensations in your calves or legs when you walk, and the pain gets better when you rest and stop moving, you might have a condition called peripheral artery disease, PAD. This means that the blood vessels in your legs are becoming blocked, restricting blood flow to your lower extremities. This pain often occurs specifically in the calves, but it can also extend to the thighs, hips, or even the buttocks, depending on where the arterial blockage is and how severe it is. When the arteries in your legs become narrowed due to plaque buildup, blood can still flow adequately to meet the muscle's needs when you're at rest and not exerting yourself. But when you start walking and doing physical activity, your muscles need a significantly greater supply of oxygen, and the clogged arteries simply can't keep up with the increased demand. This leads to cramping and pain in the legs because the tissues are essentially oxygen-starved. The pain usually appears after walking a certain distance and then goes away relatively quickly with rest, as the muscle's oxygen demands decrease. Many people mistakenly dismiss this sign, thinking it's just old age, general weakness, or minor muscle problems, delaying important diagnosis and treatment. Sign number 5, foot ulcers and color changes. The fifth thing to be aware of is the presence of slow-healing sores or ulcers on your feet or legs, persistent coldness in your feet, or noticeable changes in skin color. These are telltale signs of arterial blockage that shouldn't be ignored. If you have wounds or ulcers on your feet or legs that aren't healing properly after several weeks or even months, despite proper care, it strongly suggests that the blood vessels in those areas are severely blocked, hindering the healing process. When the blood vessels can't deliver enough oxygen and essential nutrients to the tissues, the wounds are unable to heal effectively, leading to chronic ulcers and potential complications. Similarly, if your feet constantly feel cold to the touch, especially if one foot is noticeably colder than the other, it's also a significant sign of restricted blood flow. Normally, our feet and legs receive warmth and oxygen through the continuous circulation of blood. But when blood flow is reduced due to arterial blockage, the feet will feel persistently cold, regardless of external temperature. Skin color can also change noticeably as a result of restricted blood flow. The skin on your feet might appear pale, bluish, or even shiny and thin due to the lack of adequate oxygen and nutrients. Furthermore, if hair stops growing on your feet and legs, it's also a sign of arterial blockage because hair growth requires a normal and healthy blood supply. Sign number 6, shortness of breath. The sixth sign is shortness of breath. Sudden or unexplained breathlessness, not just the kind you get after intense exercise, is when you feel unusually tired and winded, even when doing everyday tasks that never used to be a problem. Sometimes, even when you're at complete rest and not exerting yourself at all, you still feel like you can't catch your breath or get enough air. This sign is particularly dangerous because it often comes on gradually over time, and people tend to dismiss it as just a normal part of aging or being out of shape. When blood vessels are clogged and blood flow is restricted, the heart can't pump blood efficiently throughout the body, delivering oxygen to all the tissues and organs that need it. This means the body is receiving less oxygen than it requires, and your body starts breathing faster and more shallowly in an attempt to compensate, trying to pull in more oxygen with each breath. According to extensive research from the Mayo Clinic, shortness of breath is one of the earliest and most common signs of heart failure. Women should pay particular attention to this sign because research has consistently shown that in women, shortness of breath is often the primary symptom of heart disease, rather than the more commonly recognized chest pain that is often the main sign in men. Sign number 7, erectile dysfunction. If a man starts experiencing erectile dysfunction, it can also be a telltale sign of underlying arterial blockage. This problem often appears years before any serious heart or brain issues become obvious, serving as an early warning system for potential cardiovascular problems down the road. Research consistently shows that men with erectile dysfunction, especially when it's not caused by psychological issues or other non-cardiovascular factors, are at a significantly higher risk of experiencing a heart attack, stroke, and peripheral artery disease in the years to come. Sign number 8. Transient ischemic attack, TA. If someone suddenly experiences stroke-like symptoms that disappear after a few minutes to 24 hours, it's called a transient ischemic attack, TIA, often referred to as a mini-stroke. This happens because of a severe blockage or narrowing in the blood vessels in the brain, causing a brief and temporary interruption of blood flow. The symptoms are usually clear and alarming. Sudden numbness or weakness in the face, arm or leg, often on just one side of the body, a drooping face or a sagging mouth, slurred desired speech, making it difficult to speak clearly, trouble understanding what people are saying, sudden blurred vision, double vision or partial vision loss in one or both eyes, etc. These are clear signs of severe blockage in the brain's blood vessels and indicate that a full-blown stroke could happen at any moment. Even if the symptoms disappear after a short period of time, you should never ignore them or dismiss them as unimportant. A TIA is a serious warning sign that requires immediate medical attention. Sign number 9. The 6 Ps of acute limb ischemia. The most dangerous and severe sign of arterial blockage is acute limb ischemia, a condition where blood flow to a limb is suddenly and severely cut off. To help remember the key signs of this critical condition, doctors often use the mnemonic, the 6 Ps: pain, pallor, pulselessness, paresthesias, paralysis, and poikilothermia. Now let's go through each sign one by one to understand what it means. Pain. Severe and sudden pain in the affected limb that doesn't get better with over-the-counter pain medication and doesn't improve with rest. Pallor. The affected area looks pale or white, a stark contrast to the normal skin color of the surrounding tissues. Pulselessness. You can't feel a pulse below the affected area. When doctors try to check for a pulse, they can't find one, indicating a complete blockage of blood flow. Paresthesias. Strange and abnormal sensations like tingling, pins and needles, or numbness in the affected limb, because the nerves aren't working properly due to a lack of oxygen. Paralysis. The muscles and nerves in the affected limb are so starved of oxygen that they initially weaken significantly and then completely lose the ability to move. The toes or the entire limb can't be moved, indicating severe nerve and muscle damage. Poikilothermia. The affected limb becomes cold to the touch because blood flow is blocked and can't maintain normal temperature, causing the limb to become significantly colder than the rest of the body. These 9 warning signs are actually our body's built-in alarm system, constantly sending us signals that our arteries are becoming blocked and that we need to take action. Ignoring chest pain, thinking it's just stress, dismissing leg cramps as just a normal part of getting older, or simply thinking shortness of breath is due to being out of shape, are dangerous mistakes that can have life-threatening consequences. All these seemingly minor symptoms are actually early warning signs of potentially life-threatening arterial disease that should be evaluated by a medical professional. Research consistently shows that people who recognize these symptoms early on and seek prompt medical attention are much better protected against serious cardiovascular events like heart attack, and stroke. But people who ignore these warning signs and delay seeking medical care are much more likely to run into serious trouble later on. Early detection and timely intervention can truly save your life. Thank you so much for watching the video this far and for visiting the channel. I truly hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did find this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with your friends and family. And if it's your first time visiting the channel, please consider subscribing to stay updated on future videos. See you in the next video. Goodbye.